Hi guys, my name is Teresa. Welcome to my channel. So for today's video, I'm gonna do my part 2 to my series that I'm doing for the month of October. It's called Makeup and Myths. So the first video I did was about Pigman Road, and I told you about the story, the myths, some things that I found that wasn't true, some things that were true. So while I tell the story, I put my makeup on. I did get this idea from Bailey Sarian. I'll link her channel down below. She does makeup and mystery, which she talks about true crime. So mine is a little bit different. I do a spin on it, and I'm talking about urban legends that are local to my area. So I just want to put a disclaimer out there for this video. These types of videos aren't for everyone, and I totally respect that and understand. I do have other videos on my channel where I share my favorite palettes and makeup tutorials and different things like that. So I already know it's not for everybody. And also, in this story I'm going to be talking about today does include abortion. So I know abortion can be a touchy subject for some people, and some people rather just not hear about it. So if you don't want to hear about it, please click off this video. I don't want to offend anybody. I do not put my personal beliefs in this video. I'm just telling a story. That is it. Okay. So I also got, yesterday, I picked up the Wet n Wild Coffin Break palette right here. And I'm going to be using it in today's video. I do find it very similar to the Naked Honey palette. Obviously, it's different, but I find it kind of similar. And I did use this yesterday, and I just want to say real quick, I found the black shade very patchy. When I tried to lay it down, it kept picking itself up. It was terrible blending. Just in case you were thinking about picking up this palette, I'm going to try it again today, though, and see how it goes. And if I don't mention any makeup products that I'm using while I'm telling the story, you could always look at my description box and check out what I'm wearing. I'm going to start with primer. Okay, so for today's video, I'm going to be talking about Goodleburg Cemetery. Goodleburg Cemetery is located in Wales, New York. It's a rather small cemetery on a quiet road. It was established in 1811, and I believe they stopped burying people in the 1920s or the 1940s. I'm not exactly sure. And it's an area that a lot of ghost hunters go. A lot of people go there to check it out because it has a lot of stories attached to it. People are always trying to find ghosts and different things. So it's pretty popular in this area. And I've never personally went there myself, but I have told quite a bit of people that I'm doing this video, and a lot of people like to share their personal experiences with me. And I'm going to include the personal experiences in this video. So one of the biggest stories attached to the cemetery is about Albert Speaker. Now, he was a doctor in the area. I know he had an office in Buffalo, and he also had a home out by Wales, New York. A lot of people did this back in the 40s. Even my grandfather did this. He had a home in Buffalo, and then he had a home out in like Lancaster in the country. I guess it was something wealthy people did, like had 2 homes. Well, he had a home out there, and it was said he performed illegal abortions. Back then, abortions obviously were illegal, so people would, you know, find someone to go to do the procedure, and obviously it was very dangerous, very risky, and a lot of deaths were involved. And it was said that he would do these procedures, and he would take the bodies and he would dump them or bury them by the pond back by the cemetery. It is also said that the mothers who didn't survive, he would dump them back there as well. Now, there's no truth that he actually performed these things or anything like that actually happened. But some truly believe that he did perform the abortions, though. So, I guess in the 1940s, there was like a bunch of murders taking place. And one of the women, her body parts were found on Hunter Creek's Road, which is by Albert Speaker's home. And Albert Speaker was questioned in the case. And shortly after he was questioned, it is said that he committed suicide by hanging himself. So I did some more digging, and I found that that wasn't the case. He actually died from a heart attack. And that he was questioned in the murders. But then I found that after he died, there's 2 more murders that were very similar to the woman that was killed. So he couldn't have done the murders, which is kind of a shame if you think about it. Like, this man and his family, like, there's so many legends around this man's name that the family is probably upset about, you know, their father or their uncle or brother, that there's so many urban legends attached to his name. But it is said that people hear cries of babies at night. They also, like when they park their cars and go searching the cemetery at night, it is also said when they come back to their cars that there is handprints and footprints of children all over their windows, which is really creepy. So that is the legend of Albert Speaker. Okay, I'm going to use a contour stick because this foundation's looking a little pale on me. So yeah, there's lots of myths related to the cemetery. One of them is about the lady in white. People claim they see a woman walking around the cemetery dressed in all white crying. And people claim that she was one of Albert Speaker's patients who didn't survive. What else? There also is sightings, or not sightings, but there's also stories of people when they go to the cemetery, they see a man like in his 20s with curly dark hair, and he's dressed in camo, and sometimes they see him by a red truck. Well, people say that he'll talk to them, and he either tries to get them to leave or scare them. And then when people like look back, he's disappeared, he's gone. And shortly after that, there'll be strong winds, like right after he leaves, which is kind of creepy. So I was telling my coworker Kelly about this, you know, what I found in my research. And she was like, oh my gosh, like my daughter went there. And her daughter told her when she was there, they were walking around the cemetery and there was a guy there. And he goes to her daughter, there's a ghost behind you. So she looks behind her and looks back and the guy is gone. He disappeared and she took off. She was so scared. And I guess Kelly's sons have gone there too. And they have said to be seen bloody handprints left on their car. And they experienced some of these things, which is truly creepy. I would love to go to this cemetery, but only during the day. Because if you do go at night, you do risk getting in trouble with the police for trespassing. You're not supposed to be at the property at night because the cemetery did get a lot of vandalism. People have gone to the cemetery to, you know, people have gone to the cemetery to do like weird rituals, or they vandalized the tombstones. They knocked them down, broke them. They reported that these people a few years back, dug up a body of a child who died from influenza, which is so disturbing. Like, do not do that. Like, if you want to go ghost hunting and go to an area that there's a lot of legends surrounding, be respectful. Be respectful of the property, you know, of the people, because the people that are buried in the cemetery are just normal people that lived in that area back in that time. They're not witches or anything else like that. They're just normal people, so let them rest. So, what else? In the cemetery, people claim to see hellhounds. So there's big black dogs, and people say they have red, glowing eyes. And they'll hear them howling, and sometimes they'll see them in packs, or sometimes you'll just see like a dog in the distance and see that red eyes glowing. It's pretty creepy. There also is a curse attached to the cemetery. There's a few curses. One of the curses I found is if you go to that cemetery and you take anything with you, like you find flowers, or I don't know, if you steal something. I'm trying to think what you could steal from a cemetery. I suppose a tombstone. Some people could steal that. Well, pretty much bad things would happen to you. Even death. It's reported that people have, you know, bad luck, misfortune, all kind of horrible things. And usually when these horrible things start happening to the people, they'll go back and return the item, in hopes that they would reverse the curse. There's also another curse, and this is what my friend Sarah told me. I didn't find this on any like websites, any research that I did. But the curse is said, if you go to Goodleburg Cemetery with a friend, like with a really good best friend, after you leave, you will no longer be friends. It's like a curse. Something will happen, you'll get into a fight, and you can be the closest of friends, the bestest of friends, and you will no longer be friends with that person. And she actually went with one of her old friends, her childhood friend she was super close with, and she was like, no, there is no way that this curse is true. Like, we're best friends. This is a silly curse. It's not going to come true. And a few years later, they did get into a fight, and now they're no longer friends. Could be a coincidence, you know. Doesn't necessarily mean that the curse of Goodleburg Cemetery happened. But, I don't know. You never know. Okay, I'm going to dip into the Wet n Wild Coffin Break palette. I found this palette to be kind of extremely soft. I definitely have to tap off excess. I'm going to dip some powder underneath my face. Oh, another story is that the mafia used that area to bury their bodies of the people they would do like mob hits on. Like people reported like seeing mafia members in the area, and I don't know. But their theory has kind of been debunked because I guess like the cemetery is kind of in a wide open space, and there are houses around, so it's not gonna be super secretive. I'm just doing a simple eye look for today. I'm gonna be doing some grocery shopping and some cleaning. But I do enjoy this palette. I think it's really pretty, and I definitely get fall vibes from this palette. Also claimed the area was an ancient Native American burial ground. And a lot of hauntings are from that. But I did some research on that, and I guess there's no burial ground there. It's just a regular cemetery. I'm going to use this mascara that I got in a BoxyCharm, and it has like a built-in eye curler. It's kind of neat, but you have to be careful you don't pinch your skin, because I have done that and it wasn't fun. Okay, I'm going to do my brows, my e.l.f. eyebrow pencil, which I have been enjoying. I think it's perfect for me because I don't want something too pigmented, because I already got some pretty full brows. I'm going to top it off with a little lipstick. This is by Colourpop and Spring Roll. So what did you guys think of this story of the cemetery? Do you have anything like that in your area where there's a lot of stories about a local cemetery? I'm pretty sure the Lady in White is a pretty common story in most cemeteries. I've heard of the Lady in White at least 2 other cemeteries offhand. Like, I'm sure that there's movies called Lady in the White. So, I don't know. I think it's interesting, and it's kind of interesting how urban legends sometimes stem from truth. Like, there was a man, Albert Speaker, that lived there, and it is rumored that he, you know, did abortions, but there's no truth. There's no documentation. Obviously, there's not gonna be, but it's just interesting how legends stem, and throughout the years they change. So I think it's interesting. So I hope you guys enjoyed this story. I would love if you would like and subscribe. I'll link below my story of Pigman Road. I thought that was really interesting, and I'm really glad how that turned out. That was my first video in the series. So I don't know. I think it's fun. I'm planning on doing quite a bit of Halloween looks. Like simple ones. I am not like a FX makeup artist or anything. I'm thinking about doing like a lion, witch, probably cat, you know, the simple, common, last minute makeup things people need for a little party or something. So, yeah, I'll see you guys soon. Have a good, wonderful weekend. Bye.